Hey planty peeps, so today I'm propagating some houseplants ahead of spring, and I thought I'd bring you along to show you how easy it is to propagate some species of plants. So let's get to it. Hey planty peeps, welcome or welcome back to NichesPlants. My name is Kanisha, also known as Niche, and on this channel we talk, live and love plants. So if that's your thing, hit that bell button and subscribe so you don't miss out. So today we're basically propagating via cuttings. If you don't know what a cutting is basically when you cut off or chop off a section of a plant and you put that in a medium to produce and grow a new plant. So today our mediums are water, perlite and moss. Just to note, in my moss I'll be using today, I will be mixing it in with a little bit of perlite, but I'll explain that later. And I've got about 5-6 plants that I want to take propagations from. So let's get cutting. As you can see here on the plant, you've got the stem. Now this is the stem. These are aerial roots. Now they're called that because they're roots that are basically growing in the air because of the moisture and they're not in the soil, but they're still roots nonetheless. Once we chop this plant and put it in water, these aerials will develop into proper roots and that will provide nutrition to the plant. Now you see this little nub right here, that is what we call a node. Basically once you cut anywhere along this stem and these roots are activated, that node will activate and produce a new leaf. So that is where I'm going to cut, and to be honest you can cut anywhere, which I'm going to cut here, just like that. And then I will take this whole plant and divide it up into further sections, of which I will show you. And you can see right here there's another node that will start there. Okay, so this is our neon pothos. I'm basically going to cut a few pieces. Now you can see it does need watering, so after I make the chop I will then water it, but as it's winter I kind of let them dry out a little bit more just to make sure I'm not watering them too frequently. But we've got a few pieces here. I think I want to take a chop here. Maybe you can see as it's bent, maybe that section right underneath there. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I guess it was going anyway. Where was I going to chop? I actually might just chop. Yeah, I'll take this leaf off and I'm going to chop right here. That is the node. Yeah, there's a little dot, so let me just show you. On here, I don't know if you can see it properly. Just below in there, there's a little black dot. Can you see it just above my nail? That's the node. So I need to chop above that and then we'll get a new leaf growing from there. So I'll take that carefully and chop. Just like that. That's one cutting. That's fine, that'll dry off by itself. We've got this. Not much there. Oh, we've got a new leaf coming through here. And a new leaf coming through here, that's interesting. So because we've got that, I might actually just cut right above. Cut in there. That's on that, fine. I know this plant is like really needs a lot of water. This is my Hoya polinera, also known as the fishtail Hoya. You can see now they aren't doing great, so I might propagate some of these ends. I think probably I'm going to chop, yeah, probably that long stem right there. What else? I might chop this one, I think. take that off because that's not really doing much. Okay, let's get to it. One, it does bleed a little bit, so we'll leave it to dry out. So you've got one which looks like it'll probably die off anyway. 2, 3, but it might not do much. And I'm going to take this one. This one. That's our Hoya. So this is one of 3 of my Ceropegia string of hearts. This one's actually quite long and I'm going to cut it into thirds. But just in light of propagation, you might be able to see on here where there we go. You've got at the base of that bulb, if you cut beneath or on top of that, so on the opposite side of where the leaves are, and put that into water, take off those 2 leaves, which I'll show you later. You can then put that in water and that will start to sprout roots for you. New set of string of hearts. So I'm going to cut this into thirds and then I'm going to do the others and get propagating. So this is the first batch of string of hearts. 2 more to go. So this is my other string of hearts. You can see it's a lot bare at the top. But we've got some bulbs of which we should hopefully get some new growth from, but this is where I'm going to propagate, probably from about here, so we've got just over half to propagate. Okay, so we're now in my greenhouse cabinet and I want to propagate one of my Philodendron white princess. As you can see, that's it. It's got lovely variegation. Now we have been growing some aerial roots. That was the first leaf, that was the second. They're yellow, so we can take those off and you can see all those aerial roots there, and they're doing really well. So I just thought, let me propagate it and it can kind of start its own root system, and then we've got a few growth points on here that can develop and hopefully give us another plant. So that's what we're going to chop. I'm going to take this leaf off because it's yellow, just like that. You can see we've got a growth point there, and I'm going to do the same on this side and take it off. Wonderful. Now in regards to cutting, I kind of want to get above those roots at an angle, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that, because we've got that growth point there, and I'm sure I saw another one, yeah, literally there, so they're parallel, so I'm going to have to get really tight underneath it. Now, to get underneath, I think I have to cut underneath it, to be honest. I can't get all the way in there, so I think I'll have to cut under here, otherwise I'm not going to get cut under here, otherwise I'm not going to get all the way in there. So we're just going to do, oh no, I'm going to do that. There we go. That wasn't that hard. There it is. Those are the roots. So yeah, aerial roots look quite good. And then this is the base plant, which will dry and hopefully those growth points will activate and give us a new plant. But we'll see what happens. I'm just going to put it back, let it settle, and move on to the next. The last plant we're going to propagate is this Philodendron Florida Ghost, because it's not doing great. You can see it's just not as healthy as it should be in comparison to the plant next to it. So I think we're literally just going to chop that top end off and propagate and see what happens. So let's do that. Now I did check earlier and we do have Oh, get the right one. There we go. I did check earlier and we do have a few growth points on this, though it's hard. It'll probably take them a while to come through, but they will. I might even chop off that top one, but I wanted to leave it with at least 2 leaves to help it start growing again. But that's it. And here is the propagation. So you can see, I'll bring it to the light. You can see what it looks like. And then we're going to throw that in and let it root. Yeah. You see, we've got all of my cuttings here. There are actually quite a few. We've got 3 lots of the strings or hearts. We've got the neon pothos. We've got Philodendron Florida Ghost. We've got the Micans. We've also got the white princess, and we also have our Hoya fishtail or polynera. So let me show what to do next. Okay, now that we've got everything cut, we're going to start with the Hoya and light propagation. So you can see these leaves aren't great now. Whether they'll do the work we need in regards to photosynthesis, maybe not, because they're on their way out, but I'm going to throw it in anyway because you've got, as I said before, the little bumps there are where roots would form, and you'd get a new leaf would come out there, in between there. So we're going to put it in anyway. We also have cutting 2, cutting 3, sorry, that was the laptop, and this, which I'll throw in. I'll cut and see if it creates another growth point. So we'll do that now, just like that. And they do dry out quite quickly. Now what I'm going to do is basically, with Hoya, put it in perlite. I know that perlite does quite well. I've tried this once before, and to show you, there's Hoya I've propagated before, and you can see those roots in there, which I need to pop this up properly. So we're going to be doing the same thing basically. Put them in first and perlite after them. So throw that one in, though it's not going to balance that well now, but that one in like that. This like this, this like that, like that. I guess some of you knew I was going to try and do that in the middle, right? Come on, stay. Ugh. Okay. You like that. This one's a bit floppy, so it might not last. We'll see. You like that. I'm just going to pour. Stick you in there. Okay. Sort of. I need a bit more perlite to top that off, because this one has actually kind of come out. Now, it's not as deep in as I wanted it to be. Finally. Okay, now, once you wet it, it does hold it in. I'm just gonna solidify it like that. You can see the water comes up to there. So the water's halfway, and we literally leave it, and you can see that they're in there. So perlite is basically rock that's been broken up. It's great for aeration because it does absorb the water, but at the same time allows the roots to move throughout the substrate while obtaining moisture as well as consistent airflow. So a lot of people use perlite in their soil to allow more airflow, and it's also good for propagation for the very reasons I've just stated. So that is our Hoya. You can see the water's in there, and I'll just top it up to that level so that it can then move up through the perlite to give water and moisture to the areas that will produce roots. So that's our Hoya propagation. Literally, that's it. You can just leave it in bright indirect light and leave it to do its thing, and you will get roots formed just like I showed you. So the second plant that we're going to work with now is the Philodendron White Princess. Now you can see White Princess is that because you've got variegation of white. Now this one, I was waiting for it to unfurl for a while. Like this, it's fine, it's pretty much open. I will put it in moss and perlite mixture. Now moss, because it holds on to water retention, it holds on to a lot of moisture, and it will remain damp. But the perlite to add additional airflow, because when, as you'll see the moss, if I can show you, if it's too wet it can compact, and you'll see that's what it looks like. However, with perlite in it, it allows or prevents the moss from compacting too much if it's very moist, as well as providing that aeration. Now moss, even if you didn't have the perlite in it, there would still be aeration within the substrate because it is quite fluffy. You can just see like that, it's very fluffy. It's not super heavy. I'd squeeze that out and you can see it's very fluffy, but the additional perlite holds on to moisture again and allows more airflow. So that's what we're going to use for the philodendron. When I propagated before, that's worked well. So we're going to put this philodendron in here. Now I have again put cinnamon on the base, and we're literally just going to let it sit and be covered. So this is what we're going to do. Now I'm just pushing the moss against the roots to support it, and then we'll fill in the sides. A little bit more. And that is our Philodendron White Princess potted in moss with perlite, and you'll be able to see little bits of perlite throughout. There we go. So that's that. I'll leave that. I'll put that back in the greenhouse where you saw it and just let it grow and do its thing. So next, I think we're going to do the Micans. Now, oh, Micans really get entangled with the string of hearts. Okay, so the Micans you see here is actually quite long. We've got new growth, but it hasn't unfurled or broken the cataphyll as of yet. So what I'm thinking to do with this is basically keep these three. I'll keep 1, 2 and 3, and then I will cut and keep these two together, 1 and 2, and then the bottom 3 will make individuals. Now I do propagate these in water. I find that's easiest and they do very well. Now before I cut, just to show you, now when I'm cutting, you'll see on each of these you have what is or will develop to be aerial roots. So those little bumps that you see here, those will be aerial roots, and they'll grow and develop a bit like this one has here. And then just above that, if I can show you on this one, we've got a node. Oh, just want to be gentle. You can see it there. So that little bit above it, if I can just, that is the node. And a new leaf will grow from there. So we will cut about here to give it some growth space, and then we'll place this part in water. So I will cut. See, in this one I can see the node is right there, literally. Let me see that. So I'm going to cut like there, just like that. Going to put these into water now. I've got an old prep bottle and I'm going to have to measure it somewhat now. Oh, that works. Just like that. That's what I want. And then I'll literally fill the water to here, but I'm going to take this off so this doesn't rot in the water. So that's our Philodendron Micans, and I'll literally just put water in, top it up so that the roots are covered, just like that. And then again, we'll just leave them in, you can put them in a bright, indirect light. I will put these in the greenhouse so it's humid and they have the moisture just to kind of activate these drier roots or aerial roots and to get them going, but they should be absolutely fine. If you want, you could leave them by your windowsill in your kitchen. I had a lot of propagation there because of the light that they get, and the kitchen is usually quite warm and humid. But it's totally up to you. Wherever you put your propagations, then you can just put them there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is our neon pothos. Now, neon pothos in regards to propagation is exactly the same as Micans. They have, which I can show you on this smaller piece, they have aerial roots, and you can see those little areas there will be the aerial roots, or excuse the nails. And when you put them in water, they would develop, and then you've got, as you can see there, that's a node, and we've also got another node showing there where they'll grow new plants. So that would have been another leaf, but that will push out new growth down the stem. Now I am going to take this off and maybe hook this onto the side of the pot and see if we can get these to grow, to push out growth elsewhere. Just to note, you can also sometimes have growth grow underwater. That's absolutely fine. Just keep changing the water and you'll be fine. So with these, literally, I might I might cut them in two. I'm going to put them in this little pot, again another prep pot, and just throw water in there. So in regards to that, will sit like that. You can see it kind of sits at the side. See, it sits at the side of the pot there. And then we've got this one. Now with this, I am thinking of taking off the lower leaf because obviously that's not going to work in here. If I cut this, that will work. So I'll cut there. Sorry, if I cut there, because I can then throw this in here like that. That's fine. This, I'm going to take off this lower leaf, even though actually, which way did I cut it? Cut it this way, so it should be fine. It's a bit weird. It's a weird, I want to cut that here. So that we can stick that in there like that. We can throw this one in, which would have been this way, so like that. So you can see we've got them sitting in there like that. And then this one, I'm going to take this leaf off, it's going anyway, so we're just going to chop that off. Those are in there. This one is a bit all over the place. We cut there. Now this leaf actually looks like it's going, so I'm just going to take that off just like that, and stick that in there. If it will sit, I know it's in a weird, might have to put it in that way. It's in a weird position. Probably should have put this one in first, but see how it goes. Actually, take that out and then put that. Yep, hooked underneath, wonderful. Shouldn't really fall out then. And then I'll put this one back in there. And this one can literally just hook on the side somewhere. We'll put it here. There we go. They're all finally in there. So that's what they look like inside, you can kind of see. And then I'm just going to add, I'll throw this one in there, never know what happens. Some water like I did the other one, and literally just pour the water in. Obviously they don't reach, so I'm going to have to bring it quite high to the top, just like that. And then they will be placed again. I'll probably put this back in the greenhouse just so they've got really high humidity, but you can again place this just on a windowsill or in a room that's warm, anywhere basically that you'd be in your house and not freezing. Place them there, and in time, within kind of a week and a half, you should see shoots starting to form, and you'll see those little nodes extending, and some of them will have white tips, which you know it's new roots coming through. Some of them might start off brown and then have the white. It depends on how quickly they develop. So this is the Philodendron Florida Ghost. As I said, the leaves weren't doing great. I also think I need to repot that plant because it's probably a bit cramped because it's in there with a pedatum. I've put cinnamon on the base as I usually do, and you can see there's a few aerial roots here. Now they are dry, so I expect that they're going to take a lot longer to form and come through, but you can see there's a growth point right here. You can see that, and there's another growth point there. But these aerial roots are quite fresh, the two that you can see at the top there. I hope you can see them. They're quite fresh, so they should actually grow quite quickly and provide nutrition through the substrate. These will take a while, I expect will take a lot longer, but I'm going to put them in moss. I'm literally going to use this container with perlite in it. I'm going to squeeze a little bit out because it's actually quite damp, and I'm going to just run that off a bit. Here we go. So for now I'm literally going to put in like that because I want it in a place where it can kind of support itself, because obviously this is at a strange angle. If I put it in a normal pot, it'd probably be unbalanced and fall out. So here it can sit down a little further because of the way that the leaves are positioned. So I'm literally going to put it in like that and place some of the moss like this on top of it to help weigh it down, and just put the moss up and around it until I find a container that is smaller and we'll be able to hold it properly. And that's literally what I'm doing. Just need to be careful with this caterpillar because obviously I don't want to snap or damage it. These aerial roots here that I spoke about before, the one on this side and this one here, as they're near the moisture or the moss, they will actually just grow towards it, and that will encourage them. So I'm not worried about them. It's more about those that are a little older and need more support. So that's that basically. That's literally how it's going to stay. So that is the Florida Ghost. Now for the string of hearts, the string of hearts is quite long. Now just to emphasize on propagation, let me see if I can show you a little more closely. Now, as everybody knows, string of hearts gets really tangled. So let's see if I can, yeah, I can show you on this one, I think. So if we look at this strand here, now you'll see on the back, we've got what looks like bulbs, and you've got the leaf coming out of the left and the leaf coming out on the right. You then got a new growth point coming here. Now that could be another string, or it could be a flower. This doesn't look like a flower to me, it'll be another string. But in light of propagation, all you have to do is cut below that. When you cut below that, it will then tell it, obviously every plant wants to continue to grow, so it will push out a new string just like the one here to carry on growing. And that's literally how you start off the propagation. The second thing that you need to do is place that in water. So as I've done on this one, I will show you. This is obviously the base, as you've got that there. I'm going to take these leaves off. So if I take that off like that, just pinch it and it will come off like that. And then I'm going to place that in water. Once I do that, this will start to produce roots. Just like any other plant, it's in water, it will start to produce roots to provide nutrition to the rest of the plant. If you need to, depending on if the stem stays in the pot or not, you can get rid of 2 lots. So you've got 2 lots of areas where roots will grow, but I'm just going to do the one. And I'm literally going to do that with every stem, and just take it off and then be able to put it in the pot. So that's what I'm going to do. All of these have the leaves taken off the ends, and you've just got the bulbs that are left. And I'm literally going to put these in water and leave them to grow. Also, if you do like this video and you found it helpful, please do like and subscribe. If you'd like more videos like this, then just let me know and tell me what video you would like me to do next. Now we've got one here that actually looks quite dead, so I'm just going to pull that out. There we go. And then the rest we're going to put in the propagation pot, which is this, another container from Prep. And I'm literally going to take each individual one. I might need to just lining these up so that when I put them in, the roots is kind of in the same area. Some are longer than others, you'll see, but that's fine. So just lining those up, and then we literally got another dead one. I know, as you know, these get ridiculously tangled. But we're just going to put them in. Oh, like that. Just keep it like that. So that's that. Now, because I've got 2 others to do, I will put all the others in here as well. But for now, to keep them like this, I will place a little tape here just to hold them. Like, I'm going to just take them. Like that. And you can see we've got those, hopefully you can see those bulbs in there. And then we'll pour the water in. Literally like that. Like, you can see the little bulbs in there, and over time they will give you new roots. Same with the perlite, you get new roots in there. The moss as well, the Micans, neon pothos, and the Florida ghost. So do let me know if you've propagated anything, if you have a preferred method, whether that's water, perlite, moss. And until next time, dare to dream, live to grow, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.